Trading stocks, options on stocks, futures, options on futures, and retail off exchange foreign currency transactions, Forex, involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by historical tests of strategies, is no guarantee of future performance or success. There is a possibility that you may sustain a loss equal to or greater than your entire investment, regardless of which asset class you trade, equities, options, futures, or Forex. Therefore, you should not invest or risk money that you cannot afford to lose. Trade Guide Limited is an authorized representative of Forex Max Limited and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority number 229906. G'day folks, this is Danny Youones from superchargewyckoffvsa.com. I'm the author of Supercharge Your Trading and Investment Account using Wyckoff Volume Spread Analysis. In this video, I'm just going to go through a few currency pairs, mainly the major currency pairs such as the Aussie versus the US dollar, the Euro US, the British Pound US, and the USD Japanese Yen. Now, what I've got in front of you here is the weekly chart of the Aussie US dollar. And what we can see clearly is that the Aussie dollar has reached an area of resistance. Okay, so, and that's at around just above the 80-cent mark. Okay, so we saw it a few weeks back break this previous resistance here, just above the 77 cents mark. It pushed higher. We did get a sign of weakness come through, supply overcoming demand, but it was a non-confirmed signal. But if you take a look at the next bar, we see it close in the middle of the range. Okay, so certainly it's not strength. Okay, even though this VSA principle did not confirm, we still got a weak type of bar. Now, the week after that, we got a down bar, okay, which is basically confirm that there is weakness. Okay, so with the last week's bar, we have seen it. They've marked the price down, and then they've closed the candle in the middle of the range. Now this looks like to me, it looks like a test. Okay, the volume is lower than the previous two bars, so it looks like they're testing this area. Okay, so we may see the Aussie push higher next week, but if we still see continued weakness, we would likely see it come back and retest the resistance that it broke a few weeks back. Right, so this resistance here. Okay, so we may see it come back down to this level, right? Back down to around about that 77 cents mark. Or if we do get a confirmed test, okay, then we will likely come back and retest the highs. Okay, so that's something to look out for with the Aussie dollar. Okay, so at this stage, we are looking at some strength. Okay, so we might be seeing a test on this bar, and if this confirms, if the test confirms, then we're likely to see higher prices. Now, if we look at the VSA middle term trend system, it is green. The volume thermometer as well is green, so it's strength. Okay, our diamond trending system here is up as well. Okay, so at this stage we're looking at strength, but there's also a possibility for it to come back down and test this supporting area around about the 77 cents mark. If we also look at what's happening in the background here, we got a series of higher lows. Okay, so that is certainly showing that there is strength. Okay, and we can see what is happening there. So a series of higher lows. The highs here basically formed a triple top. We saw price squeeze within this this ascending triangle, okay, and it's finally broken through. And this is the sort of setup that I'll look at to take long trades. So we get a break of that resistance. It pushes higher, comes back down to retest. If it tests on a low volume, then that is a good possibility that we're likely to see higher prices. But we'll see what happens over the coming weeks, how this plays out. Okay, so that's the Aussie dollar. Next up is the Euro US dollar. And what we have here, folks, is the Euro US. After a decent move up in price, right, we started to see some, weakness come in. Okay, so we are starting to see here. So we had ultra high volume on an up bar. Okay, we had supply coming in. Next bar was down, but it was more of a test. Right, we can see they tested this area and they've pushed the price higher. We got some more supply coming in. They mark it down. They test it again. All right, there's strength, and they push it higher. Now the price has reached the highs of around about the 119 mark. We see a upthrust, which is a major sign of weakness. Okay, and we see the price gets marked down, and we get this widespread down bar. Okay, a widespread down bar that is strength. Okay, so potential climactic action. Okay, so this is on ultra high volume. So we see the next bar is up. They mark the price up. They mark it back down as well, testing the lower trigger level here, which I've placed at 117.28, the low of this ultra high volume bar. They test around this area. Okay, we can see they test, and continue to test. And each time they test, we can see we saw slightly high volume here, very high volume here, and then much lower volume here. So there was certainly, with this test, there was no selling. All right, the volume had dried up, and we've seen them mark the price back up towards my top trigger, which is at 118.45. Okay, so we can see areas of ultra high volume, they price basically hangs around that area. Okay, they're always testing that area. Are there any sellers on the lows? Are there any buyers on the highs? And now with this latest 4-hour bar, we can see that we have got a upthrust. Okay, so they've opened it on the low, marked the price up, and closed on the low. And we can see the volume as well is also quite low. Okay, so when trading begins tomorrow morning, we're unlikely to see the euro make its way back down towards the lower trigger level here, which is at 117.28. Okay, so this is certainly a weakness, all right, as they mark the price up to the higher trigger level, and there's certainly strength as they mark the price down to the lower trigger level. Okay, now we're in this consolidation phase, so if we're looking at going for long trades, I would like it to see a break above our higher trigger level, and then give us signs of strength as it moves up. Or if it starts to get weak, we're likely to see it to break the lower trigger level and give us signs of weakness to take short opportunities. But we can see the Euro US is certainly it's magnetized to this area here where we've got ultra high volume. So we'll see how that pans out next week. The British pound US, okay, we can see it's in a clearly defined uptrend. All right, so this is the 4-hour chart here. All right, it's in a clearly defined uptrend, series of higher highs and also higher lows. Okay, so now it's at a critical level. Okay, let me just zoom in a bit more. It's at a critical level here. Okay, so we've got a area of buying. This is my area of buying at 129.26, and as you can see, we do get, you know, climactic action at these low levels. We also see professional buying, and they test, and we will continue to see testing all the way through here. So we're starting to see some strength coming through, a 2-bar reversal, but it seems to be trapped within this consolidation range. All right, so if we do break above this lower trend line, okay, then we're likely to head back up, you know, back up towards the 131 to 132 level. Okay, if we fail to break to the upside and we break to the downside, it clearly needs to break down beneath this lower trigger level here, 129.26. And if we do see a breakdown beneath that level, then we're likely to see it come back down towards the 128 level. Okay, so we'll see how this pans out next week as well. So we're just in this sideways movement. Okay, but the British pound has been a weaker currency since it reached the highs of around about the 132.5 mark. Okay, so we'll see how this pans out over the coming week. And finally, the USD Japanese. Okay, and we can see this is the 4-hour chart of the USD Japanese. It is at a very critical level. It seems to be trading within this range. Okay, so from about 109 up to around about the 114 mark. Okay, so we seem to be trading within this range. So it's at a very critical level now. It's at the crossroads here. Okay, and we can see where we had ultra high volume. Right, back here we had ultra high volume. Back here as well, we do have ultra high volume, and we see that price normally comes back down to test areas of ultra high volume. So if we do break to the downside, okay, then we'll certainly see the the USD Japanese at least come down and test these lows of around about the 10. Let's see, the 108. That's where we're likely to head down to in the short term. If we bounce off these levels here at 10, or you know, just below 109, then we're going to head back up towards the highs, right, which have been this consolidation range that we're in. So highs of back up to 114 if we see continued strength in the US dollar. Okay, so very interesting times with the USD Japanese. You know, we've seen the US dollar of late, you know, become weak. Okay, so we'll certainly we'll see how this pans out over the coming days as well. Okay, so if you've got any questions, folks, please shoot me through an email to info@superchargewyckoffvsa.com. Have a great training week, folks, and I'll see you in a future video. Bye for now.